Hey guys, this is Danny Boy. So this is the final part of this extremely long, difficult battle. And my strategy basically consisted of just staying in this hallway. You can't be flanked from the rear, the far left. They do not come up that way. I actually positioned Garrus so he would watch the hallway for me for a little while, but eventually I realized they only attack through this choke point. So I decided to stay in here for the most part. There is a ledge to my left and I think a stairway, and you might be able to get up there and use that high ground, but I never really had the opportunity. There is a lot of death out there. As you can see, there's a turret there. They eventually set up a turret on your left, and there's an Atlas mech, beyond just tons of Centurions and Assault Troopers and Engineers. As you see, I just placed James on the right of this door, and I think it's a very good idea to have somebody positioned there, especially with a shotgun or just a good close quarters weapon, because Guardians steadily approach, and they will tend to focus on that party member rather than you, and it allows you to very easily flank them. There is also a shield generator behind me, but I don't really use it for the most part. In fact, and you'll see a bit later, it's actually more irritating than anything. And that body just flew because there are biotics, there are students with biotic abilities using pull on these guys every so often. Though it's not terribly helpful or anything that you can really rely upon, it's more just for fun. But I will be dying soon. A big part of this battle is just ammo conservation and making sure not to waste shots. You have very limited ammo. If you hide in this room, yeah, and I just exposed myself to that turret for all of half a second, and just that was enough to take me out. Unfortunately, sabotage doesn't last very long, and you have very limited line of sight in this area, and it's just all, everybody wants to kill me, I don't know what I did. But anyway, very little ammo. You can't really venture out to get ammo, you'll be gunned down by sentries or the Atlas mech or whatever. And there is ammo in this room. There are just 2 clips. I thought there was an ammo box, a crate, that just gives you infinite ammo, but that is not the case. So you have very little ammo in reserve, which is quite the problem. I actually run out of ammo a few times, and you will see that. I only cut out, I think, about 3 deaths or so, and all of them were basically just rage deaths of me running out of the room, trying to kill somebody, and then dying because I just couldn't take it anymore. But it's definitely a good idea to conserve ammo as far as the Atlas mech goes. You really do not want to waste shots against him. At this stage of the game, your weapons don't do much damage, especially if you do not have an ammo power. So if you have things like Overload and Incinerate, or whatever other similar abilities, Warp, stuff like that, it's best to just lower his defenses using those and just your party member's ability, because you'll need all the ammo you can get just for taking down the regular grunts for the most part. But I played this very defensively. The hardest part of this fight is just being patient, just waiting for the opportunity to attack, dealing with the constant shield bursts and everything, just constantly losing your shields, constantly being shot. It's generally a good idea to always sprint back and forth past this door, because then you'll see, just exposing myself for a moment generally took my shields down because of the turrets and the random assault troopers. Boom. But this fight was pretty frustrating, though once you know what to do, it's really not that bad. It's really not that hard. Same goes for the previous mission. If you know that the fight ends just when you reach that doorway, well, on most classes, that's really not difficult to do at all. I'm playing an engineer, so I have limited mobility and limited control, but if I was playing an infiltrator, I could just cloak and run to the door. It would take all of 2 seconds. If I was playing a soldier, I could just use Adrenaline Rush and just get past there without dying. A Vanguard could just charge to a nearby enemy, then just drop down and go in. A Sentinel has the Super Shield, which hopefully will be enough to get him past everything and just to dip into the door. The only other class I can think of that would have serious problems is just the Adept, but even they can just cast a quick Singularity, lock down 2 or 3 guys, and then just run in, so. But if you guys have other strategies, feel free to employ them. This is by no means the only way you can win this fight, again, I might be able to go up to that ledge, but I just never really thought about it. It's just me being very tired of constantly losing my shield just when I so much as peek through this door. And just even there, I sprinted across, and one little tap from that sentry reduced my shield by half. So, it's also very frustrating when you're using the mech and you're using the Raider, because my cooldowns are so long, and I just use Sabotage, but of course I hit that corner rather than hitting the actual sentry, so now I have to wait even longer. This is an example of why I like James being positioned where he is. I'm putting up a turret, just waiting for them to come. That gives me some ability to flank, and they go after James rather than me, so they're wide open to my attack. And here's another advantage of being in this room. Just about every time I got to this point, the Atlas mech approached the door. And unfortunately this time I didn't realize I should conserve my ammo against the mech. I'll realize that later, because I thought I had infinite ammo at this time. But yes, the mech will approach the door, and he really can't attack you at this point. Though I'm not really giving him the opportunity, I am ducking away every time I shoot just to make sure. But I think eventually I don't even bother, because I know. And you might consider this cheesy, and you don't want to do this or whatever, and that's fine. I mean, if you can take him out from range, go for it. But every time I did this, he approached, and there's really nothing I could do about it as long as I stayed in this room. It wasn't just a fluke, he did it every time. And I will show this later on my actual success, because once again, he did it. And, you know, what can you do? And he is shooting, it's just not really succeeding. But yes, I'm out of ammo. And again, I thought that crate behind me gave me infinite ammo. I will soon realize that no, it does not. So, rather unfortunate, but I will try to just take him down with powers, which is doable. But things, unfortunately, just do not work out. The best laid plans and all that. So again, I thought maybe it just needs some time to recharge or something. And now the Atlas has full armor, and this is when I realized this isn't going to happen, and I just go out and die. I just go out and get myself killed, because the engineers are repairing the mech, and there was no way I'd be able to damage that mech faster than the engineers could repair him, and the mech was completely blocking the door, so I would not have line of sight to actually kill the engineers. So here is just something I thought was kind of funny. So this engineer just bum rushes me, and I just don't know what to do. All my things are on cooldown. Garrus doesn't have his overload ready, so I just kind of back off, and we are both getting shields faster than we can destroy each other. This was a bit of a stalemate, and I'm looking around because I just want to destroy the generator. I don't need it, and I don't know, I mean, I need to kill this guy, but there really doesn't seem to be one that you can actually physically destroy. It seems like the water sprinklers, for some reason, are giving me infinite shields, but he finally backs off, so now I'm going to close and just finish him off. But I thought that was amusing. But I wind up dying, so I'm going to just ignore that. Actually, no, I didn't wind up dying. This is where I die. I just wanted to skip to this part, just to show that there is a turret on the left, and I didn't realize it at this time, so I think the coast is clear. I'd actually already killed the mech. I thought all was well. This would be it. But I just can't kill this guy with the mech. So I figure everything's safe, should be good. So I peek out, finish him off. I think that was it, but no, there's a turret there, and I instantly die. Fantastic. But I didn't think I should show that entire fight, just those two clips, because it wasn't really that interesting beyond that. It was basically what you're about to see, and this will be my success, and this is going to take about 10 minutes or so. And it's all really similar to what you might have seen before, just a matter of staying back here, being cautious, making sure your party members stay in here as well, and if they do happen to die from a stray grenade or from the Atlas mech shooting a rocket through the doorway, you can always just res them manually, because the door does close when you get far enough away. But by this point, I realize I need to conserve my ammo. I realize I shouldn't waste ammo on the mech. I should focus more on powers if I can, just to make sure that I can outlast them. I also try to conserve the little metagel I have. I don't waste it on party members, I save it for myself. But this was a very long fight. Every attempt that was marginally successful lasted between 6 and 10 minutes. This was just a long mission in general. I think it took around an hour, hour and 20 minutes or so, including all the dialogue and everything. And I was definitely demoralized by the end of it. I left this mission very sad. It was a very frustrating mission, but now that I know what to do, I doubt I'll ever really have trouble again. Especially if I'm playing some other classes that are a bit more powerful at the lower levels. The engineer is really a late bloomer. This is very early in the game. Remember, I missed Grissom Academy. It was destroyed, so I am going back and loading a much older save. This was actually only about 3 hours into the game. By comparison, I am now 30 hours into the game, so this was a long time ago. I'm not sure what level I am. I doubt I'm even level 10 at this point. The engineers, though, are definitely a priority. I want them to die. I do not like their turrets. I managed to get a quick incinerate around that corner and finish him off. And again, you find the Matak. On this mission, you find Cerise Council chest piece, which is 10% power damage. You find a visor that does 5% power damage and recharge. And you find one of the first, possibly the first, assault rifle scope in the game. So definitely recommend going to this place ASAP if you are interested in any of those items. This fight does not take until the end of the video. There is another sequence. It was more a just-for-fun sequence, though. But I don't want to spoil it. And it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Especially after this. This was rather stressful. And I was worried there. I somehow got hit by that rocket. So my shield was down and I was stunned. And as soon as that happened, an engineer came in. Unfortunately, the shotgun is just so inaccurate. Even at short range, it's inaccurate. I had 2 pretty decent body shots, and they did very little damage just because of the pellet spread. The Raider is definitely more of a point-blank range shotgun. It is very effective if you can get headshots, though, at point-blank range. It does a lot of damage. It does have a lot of pellets, and it fires rather rapidly. Just something to keep in mind. Trying to position my sentry so it's not actually open so that the enemies can't shoot it through the door. I just want it there in case they close, because I knew more Guardians were coming. And sure enough, here they are. So just placing a proximity mine in preparation for him. There we go. And I believe fairly shortly the Atlas mech will once again close to the doorway. But I will kill him much more conservatively and save my ammo in case there is an enemy that I need to deal with. There's just so many engineers on this map. It's just like it never ends. Just so many enemies in general. Very time-consuming. Not a particularly fun level. I mean, this isn't particularly fun, just hiding in this doorway. I don't like fights with extremely limited mobility. I've said before, my favorite fights are ones where I can reposition and flank, and actually, you know, use the shotgun offensively and not just as a tool for when Guardians close, you know, actually flank enemies and not feel so enclosed. But this, at least this strategy, is just the exact opposite of what I enjoy. I don't like turtling, which is what this essentially is. A turret actually just blew up on my left. Part of the reason why you don't see the biotics so frequently is because engineers are constantly placing turrets on the upper left, and the biotics are, the students are trying to use biotics to destroy it, but all they basically have is pull. They're trying to destroy a shielded and armored sentry with just pull, and possibly even having an engineer repair it, so as you can imagine, that is quite time-consuming. That's what they're spending most of their time doing. That's why you only see enemies hit by it occasionally, and only when there really isn't a turret set up on my left. There's a ledge. For some reason, that combat engineer didn't have a backpack. Strange. Maybe they have a finite number of turrets that they can actually place. Maybe they can only place 2 or 3. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had one place that many before that I've actually noticed. Usually I kill them by that point. But this is definitely just a fight that never ends. It's pretty slow-paced. It wouldn't be so bad if you could come here at later levels, but you can't because they destroy it. You have to do this in the early game. This is definitely one of the hardest fights in the early game by far. It's certainly the hardest Cerberus fight. And of all the Cerberus fights I've done, this is the hardest even 30 hours into the game. So, and I'm not going to say it's the hardest in the game, but it's definitely the hardest I've experienced yet. We shall see. And it wasn't really the difficulty of this fight that bothered me, it was more just the frustration and it seemed kind of cheap at times, and just how slow it was and how little variety of strategy you could really employ. And I don't know if you can actually get up on that ledge. I'll definitely have to try that in a later playthrough. Something I definitely intend to do. Because they're not taking stairs, they're jumping down. I don't know if there's actually stairs back up. I think that's what I see, but I don't know. Okay, now I think the Atlas mech is finally going to start closing. He tends to close once pretty much everything else is dead. That's when he starts coming closer and just viewing you as the main threat. I don't know if he attacks the biotics as well or something. He seems to kind of just run in place for most of the fight. I don't know if his AI is a little buggy. On top of everything else, we have to wait for smoke. That was a close one. Really wanted to kill him, but grenades, so. Okay, I think it's going to start coming. Maybe once I kill this turret. So guys, after this, I'm either going to... getting frustrated again. Tired of my shield constantly breaking. I'm either going to do more target practice missions, maybe I'll finally get around to doing the assault rifles. And by missions, I mean videos, apologies. Or I might do one more plot episode. I am sitting at episode 49, I'd like to make that a 50. But we'll see. I'm actually really tired right now. I've been doing this for a number of hours. So perhaps once I upload this, I will just go to bed. Feel free to sub and comment and like, by the way, if you do enjoy these videos. I definitely really appreciate it. Very encouraging. I think things are going pretty well so far. I'm definitely enjoying myself a lot. I hope you guys are as well at this point. So now I'm going to just use drone, sentry, overload, Garrus's overload, and just try to focus on taking him out with powers. I might use weapons more for his armor, but I really want it to be conservative. I think I'll use the shotgun to take out his armor for the most part. You guys have actually watched this all the way through. Bravo. This is so long, and I know it. But I really didn't want to split it up into 2 episodes. Didn't seem to make sense, really. Weapons do such poor damage at this point in the game. I miss my ammo. I miss incendiary ammo from James. It'll be good to be where I was in the game again. I do not miss being this weak. I didn't realize how much things had improved over time with levels. And I'm just trying to get line of sight of this thing, because there seems to be a huge rock in front of it. But I now realize that my party members can actually still shoot it, even though there's something in the way. And so can I with Incinerate, so I'll take this out in just a moment. And then that will be it for this battle. Not the mission, but this battle. But no more deaths, this will be it. Everything else is easy. And rage. Rage. Screw this fight. I was not happy at all when I finished this. I was not like, yay, I beat it. I was just like, oh, that was stupid. That was stupid as hell is what that was. Whatever. So as you see, there is an empty Atlas mech on my right. And I will be jumping inside of it. I noticed that there was a keybind for Atlas mechs a long time ago, so I figured it was just something in multiplayer. But apparently, at least, maybe it is as well, but for now, it is in Grissom Academy. You get to go into an Atlas mech and pilot one in Grissom Academy. This was actually a pretty fun sequence, far more enjoyable than the normal turret sequences, I thought. Definitely satisfying killing these guys after all this. All this madness. This is very simple. All you really need to worry about are the occasional grenades. And don't bother using the melee attack, it really doesn't do much of anything. I really wish this thing had like a jetpack or a sprint or something, though. You kind of just waddle along. But again, the goal is to keep the students alive. But it's really not a problem. They come through very predictable kill zones. But guys, I can't really think of anything to talk about, so I think I'm going to just cut out here. So, thanks for watching, stay tuned for more, and as always, have a good one.